Hey guys, it's Chuke here from Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Well, some of you may be thinking Chuke has lost his mind. Here we have the ultimate mall ninja, the guy who stencils Punisher skulls on his SOCOM 16, the tactical firearm guy, talking about instinctive shooting and traditional bow hunting. But that's where my heart truly relies. And there's just something so satisfying with using real Port Orford cedar arrows and your wooden recurve, and you just hear those arrows thunk into the target. It's just amazing. It's very satisfying, and to harvest an animal, it's even more satisfying. Now, why don't I hunt like this all the time? Well, because the success rate is so very low. I've thought about it. I consider it some years, but then I always bring the rifle because I'm lucky if I even get anything with my rifle. The way the caribou herds have been changing, the luck I've had the last several years. Of course, I'm not going to hunt with this because I'm primarily a meat hunter trying to fill the freezer here in Alaska. But I do have a chance to fly down to Missouri. Buddy owns a farm down there, a guy I grew up with here in Alaska, and he's got some big monster bucks there. So I'm going to take another shot at a whitetail with the recurve, wooden arrows. I made this arrow myself. I used gasket lacquer on it, straightened it. I put the fletching on with a good old Bitzenberger fletching tool, and I've got an old school Zwickey broadhead that I'm going to sharpen that's from the 90s or 80s actually. But I've got it all it's spined for my 60-pound limbs here. It's at the correct length for my arm draw and all of that. And if you look at this, there's no sight on this. So how do people shoot with these? Well, the range is a lot closer, but I definitely recommend you read Instinctive Shooting by Fred Asbell. Kind of like Fred Bear. This guy is just an icon, and it describes how when you really study instinctive shooting and practice traditional bow hunting, the wooden bow and arrow become an extension of your body, and the arrow just goes where your eye aims at. It's really amazing, and it really works. Some of the guys do the same thing with pistol shooting, quick draw and that kind of thing. They're just instinctively shooting. But it does work, but in order to be pretty accurate, I need to be within 9 yards of an animal, so it makes hunting pretty hard. I can stretch it out a little ways. I did fail my bow hunter certification test twice, because when I went out to the far out one in the valley, they have a course there, I had to make like a 42-yard shot, and you can only miss one of them out of the 3 shots in that group. And finally, I got to take it at the Rabbit Creek one, and they had like a 36-yard one. I was finally able to qualify and pass it and get my certification. But it's hard with this kind of bow. You've got no sights, and when you're nervous and the instructor's breathing down your neck, any little mistake you make you're going to miss it. So I've thought about compound bow before, but when I got into it, it was over a decade ago, and that thing would have been just a relic by now, and they're very expensive. That's why I didn't get into it. This thing, nothing has changed. I haven't practiced for a decade. I haven't even picked this up and shot it for 7 years or more, and I just had to practice a couple times, and I'm right back where I was. I'm proud to say I got all of my arrows on the target. I do need to practice a little more, but it's just like riding a bike. You remember your stance. The first shot I took, I wasn't drawing it back enough, but then I got into the rhythm of, the same point on my cheek every time, letting it go, and I was hitting the target. So I have no doubt if I can get within 9 yards of an animal, I can get one with this bow. The only time I had a chance at a doe out, and it wasn't even western New York, it was in the hills there, not the Adirondacks, but the other, wherever those hills are where they grow grapes. But anyways, I was in a tree stand, just freezing my butt off, colder than it gets here in Alaska, and a doe came by, and I was just shaking. I had that buck fever, doe fever, I guess you would say, and the thwick of the string made it crouch down, and the arrow went right over its back. Just classic traditional bow hunting, and that was the one chance I had an animal with this bow. So this is an old bow. This is a Samick Deermaster. Originally, it was a Lannister or something, a different company, and then Samick bought them out. I did bend the limbs. I learned how to rebend them, straighten them, but then I got some 60-pound limbs. And it feels like it's a little bit less than 60, but I have no doubt it's at least 50, 55, and it will kill an animal. The arrows are going deep into that pretty stiff target. But anyways, what is good about this is if the prepping, anything like that, survival, you run out of ammunition, you can have an unlimited supply of weapons, especially if you know how to make arrows, which a lot of people do, or you collect arrows. And like I said, it's very satisfying, but you'd be surprised. And some of the guys that talk about firefights, they went through a couple thousand rounds in just an afternoon in an actual firefight. And, a lot of people will say, well, I have several thousand rounds. So that's it right there. Some guys stack up tens of thousands of rounds. That's a way to do it. But of course, that's hard to do. So if you got a bug out and you may run out of ammunition, you may need to hunt or feed yourself or defend yourself, having this kind of skill it's really valuable. So many reasons besides just being closer to nature. When hippies say that, they go out and, take off your shoes and socks and stand on the grass and feel the energy of the earth coming up through you. I mean, you can laugh at that, but there's something to that. I will tell you, there's something to that when you kind of commune with nature. A lot of hunters feel that when they're out hunting, feel closer to the animals and the earth and that kind of thing. And just reading about Fred Bear and Fred Asbell, just amazing stuff. So I definitely recommend it. It is a very satisfying, very zen-like sport, and I hope to get something this Thanksgiving, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys. It's Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, no, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you almost die every time.